What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Finding the Fantastic. I'm your host, Colleen D. Tiberius Shoemaker, and it's that time where we get and we talk about life, we talk about communication, we talk about soft skills, emotional intelligence, social intelligence. And you might be asking yourself, why? Why? What's the point? I have that. You're born with that. No, you're not born with that, believe it or not. You're actually not born as a good communicator. And then the environment you grow up in completely dictates and nurtures you towards how you communicate. You can come from a family who doesn't communicate at all, and therefore, as an adult, you're not going to know how to communicate, and that, it's not your fault. Or you come from a family who over communicates, and then you over communicate. And again, not your fault. It's all stuff you have to practice. It's just like working out. You got to grow it and you got to practice it. And so we talk about little things on here, and I do want to let you know, offering packages to help people learn how to communicate and to help go over emotional intelligence. It's on my website, findingthefantastic.com. Take a look at it. You can do a 30-minute session where we call and we just talk about, maybe you have one scenario going on with your partner, job, significant other, whatever it is, right? And you want to talk it out and say, hey, we're having communication issues, or I'm having this issue. Can we talk it out? And then we have packages that are an hour long where we kind of come up with a deep dive strategy. And then we've got emotional intelligence packages, which are a little bit longer and a bigger package, because that is a journey, my friend. I mean, it's all a journey. But yeah, hit me up if that's something you'd be interested in. And I offer like one-time 30-minute calls. See if you like it. See if it's something worth you paying money for. So if you're like, I'm having an issue communicating with this person, you call me. We'll talk for 30 minutes. We'll see if we can come up with some strategies and some tactics. Anyways, enough about that. Here, let's talk about this scenario. I read something somewhere where someone says, in a moment of communication / confrontation, when someone's emotions take the lead or the main focus over the actual content of the conversation, there's more to the story. What does that mean? Let's say you're talking with a friend, and you're talking something out, and that friend is extremely emotional about it. They're worked up. And let's take it to the negative. They're angry. Because usually when people cry out of sadness or something like that, we're more willing to listen to them, which blows my mind, because it's all emotion, right? It's all leading with emotion. But let's say that person gets angry and they piss you off. And so you get angry back. And you're like, why is this person being so immature, blah, 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 blah. When the reality is, for all intents and purposes, you should pause. You should pause and take heed and listen, because when somebody's emotions are that strong and they're getting upset, there's more to the story. And most of the time, people are just not feeling heard. They feel like a trapped animal, and they don't feel like they're getting anywhere. And so we've talked about this with emotional intelligence. If you understand that the person means more to you than you being right, that's not to say you should always be wrong. But if in that moment, the person means more to you than you being right, you need to stop, take a deep breath, and look at that person and go, okay, you mean more to me than than you being upset right now. I don't want you upset. I don't want you hurting. And I am sorry if I made you feel that way, right? So what's going on? I am going to listen. And while I'm not going to give in on my point right now, I do want to know that you're heard, right? So that's just one way you can go about saying it. And most of the time, that person's going to calm down, take a deep breath back, and they're going to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. And get that person to explain what they're feeling. Like that scenario, put it aside for a second and get the person to explain their emotions, okay? Because we don't have emotional intelligence. Nobody teaches it. It's not in whatever. Breathe for a second, right? And it's hard. It'll be hard on the person. Like, if you're the person who is taking the leadership in this conversation, which somebody has to, right? And it's hard. You have to have pretty good emotional intelligence to take the lead. You then have to die to yourself in the moment. I'm not saying in the conversation, because you can totally agree to disagree. But in the moment, this person means more to you, okay? You don't want to see them upset. You don't want things to be broken. So you have to take a seat back for a second, breathe, and ask them, what's going on? What's got you so worked up? and then listen to what they say. And your best bet after they say it to you is to affirm them by reiterating it back. Do not argue the points back. Do not defend yourself back. You're reiterating it back so that they can hear that you heard what they said. And if you don't understand something they're saying, ask them to explain it a different way. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it'll go a long way because that means you're really trying to understand it, right? And that if you don't understand it, that's okay. You heard it, and you can let them know. You can say, listen, I'm not fully understanding, why you're feeling this way, but I want you to know it matters to me. I don't want you upset. I really don't, okay? And at that point, you will have de-escalated, okay, and met somebody emotionally where they need to be met. And then from that moment, you can determine if the conversation is something that can be continued. And maybe ask your person, say, hey, is this something we need to resolve, or would you prefer to come back at a later time? Sometimes you need to resolve it. Let's say it's an argument with a significant other. You should never go to bed angry at people, okay? You should never allow too much time to pass. But there are some scenarios where you need to allow a little bit of time to pass. I have a hard time with this, okay? We have to solve it. We got to talk it out. But if you can't solve it, and most times things can't be solved, you should at least be at a place emotionally where you both feel secure and confident with each other in the relationship. That's a whole nother topic we'll talk about later. But point being for this podcast is just remember, if you are in a conversation with somebody and they get overly emotional, instead of just saying that they are weak, instead of just saying that they're too sensitive, realize there's more to the story than what you even understand. All right, that's it. If you like what you heard, please share it. People need to know how to communicate. People need to know and understand about emotions and things like that, because that's when we grow. And if you're interested in one of the packages, we do packages for all ages. It's great to start young kids out learning how to communicate. And then even if you're older, you can still learn how to communicate. Don't be like, it's too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.